Hello everyone, my name is Min, and today I'm not your storyteller. Today I'm just me, and I'm going to be talking about something that is very important to me. Now, some information on me for why this would be important. I am a non-binary person, trans-masculine leaning. I prefer the pronouns he, him, or they, them. And I'm an art teacher in the state of Alabama. I teach at a school for kids of all ages, and I teach preschool up through high school. They call me Miss Min, which I can live with because they're not saying my dead name. The only person who continuously dead names me at work is my boss, which I hate it, but I can live with it. Now, I give you this background so hopefully you can understand where I'm coming from. I'm from a small town in Alabama. This place is teeming with racism, homophobia, and transphobia. It's full of right-wing psychos, and as my grandfather would put it, the Republican. This is a place where it's very dangerous to be LGBT if you talk to the wrong people. I am very lucky to have a mother that cares for me unconditionally, and friends that care for me unconditionally. That's not the case for a lot of people. Today I'm here to inform anyone listening out here about the Vulnerable Child Compassion and Protection Act.
This is going to cause immense damage.
Damage to transgender kids in Alabama. Sydney Duncan is a lawyer for the LGBTQ program with Birmingham AIDS Outreach. This week, Duncan was in Montgomery for a committee meeting on the Vulnerable Child Compassion and Protection Act.
Both are designed to criminalize affirming transgender care for adolescents.
The legislation would ban performing procedures or prescribing medication meant to change the gender or delay puberty for a child under 19.
This is healthcare that's been in use and widely accepted use throughout the United States and the modern world, basically, for decades.
The bill also bans school counselors, teachers, and nurses from withholding information from parents that a student identifies as transgender. State Senator Shay Shelnut is one of the bill's sponsors. He told us it is malpractice to give drugs or perform surgery on a physically healthy child. He says we need to protect children from harmful drugs and surgeries. Duncan says this will only make things worse for already vulnerable children, and fears.
You have to wonder if it's transgender kids right now, what's going to be next?
In Birmingham, Mary O'Connell, WVTM 13.
I start with this video to summarize what's happening. As a teacher, if a child were to confide in me about identifying as trans, I would be required by law to out them to their parents, or have to face significant jail time. As part of the trans community, I would never, under any circumstances, out a child to their parents, because if a child felt safe telling their parents, they would have. If a child has not come out to their parents, it is because that child is afraid of being rejected by their parents, or their parents have shown they would not support them. It is not safe for that child to come out. And if they felt safe enough to tell me about it, it would be because as an educator, I had created a safe space where that child felt safe and confident to learn and grow. To then turn around and out that child is a violation of trust that they may never recover from, as well as putting them in physical danger by abusive parents. Now we're going to get into listening to what I consider to be highly disturbing audio. Both videos I am playing have been slightly sped up for time, as well as hopefully avoiding this video being taken down for copyright. So let's get into breaking down this lawmaker.
The Vulnerable Child Compassion and Protection Act in Alabama is now one step closer to safeguarding kids from gender reassignment as minors after the Senate Health Care Committee in Alabama voted 11-2 in favor of the bill. Joining me now to talk about it is State Representative Wes Allen, who serves the 89th District of Alabama. Representative Allen, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Joseph. I appreciate the opportunity to be on with you this afternoon.
Now, tell me, if you would, how did you come to be involved in this issue, sponsoring this legislation? What's your motivation?
Well, the motivation is to protect children, Joseph. When I learned that this was going on in our state of Alabama, I was really shocked that puberty blockers and cross-sex hormones were being given to minors, those 19 and under. And, the most important thing that we can be doing as legislators is taking care and protecting children. And so that's really the motivation behind it.
It's incredible how they make it sound like children are being forced into gender affirming at a young age. He seems to be under the impression that doctors are deciding to conspire against parents, while so many doctors in Alabama are already transphobic. It is already very difficult for trans kids to get help.
So things appear to be going very well for us in this legislation.
That's great. Now, what are the greatest harms that you perceive from the ability of 13, 14, 15, I mean, frankly, 7 or 8-year-olds could do this, and in some cases have been known to. What's the greatest harm that you see in that happening?
Well, from my research, there's been really no rigorous studies, long-term rigorous studies as to the long-term effects of these puberty blockers and cross-sex hormones being given to minors. When you're a young child, you don't think like you do, like an adult does. I'm sure you didn't think when you were 13 years old. You think different now than you're an adult.
Yeah.
So,
Lord willing, I hope I've learned something. Yes.
Right.
Making mention of how, according to his research, there have been no rigorous studies about how these hormones and puberty blockers affect kids long term. Yes, there is. All it took was a Google search and I found 2 pretty good sources. From the Mayo Clinic, it lists the benefits. What are benefits of using puberty blockers? For children who may have gender dysphoria, suppressing puberty might improve mental well-being, reduce depression and anxiety, improve social interactions and integration with other kids, eliminate the need for future surgeries, and reduce thoughts and actions related to self-harm. However, let's give it the benefit of the doubt. Let's look for negative side effects, which I know is what they're looking for. According to stlouischildren's.org, what are some of the side effects of puberty blockers? While puberty blockers are generally considered safe, they have some side effects. Not everyone experiences the following, but some. Possible long-term side effects of puberty blockers include low bone density. To protect against this, we work to make sure every patient gets enough exercise, calcium, and vitamin D, which can help keep bones healthy and strong. So one of the issues is easily remedied with exercise and calcium. Delayed growth plate closure leads to slightly taller adults. Less development of genital tissue, which may limit options for gender-affirming surgery or bottom surgery later in life. Some short-term side effects of puberty blockers include headache, fatigue, insomnia, muscle aches, changes in weight, moon or breast tissue, softening or irregular periods. The research is there by credible sources. All it took was a Google search. Clearly, he has done no research to back up even his own negative claims.
So we just want to give kids time to mature, and studies show and suggest that 80 to 95% of children that go through some confusion, that may not believe they're in the right bodies, if they are loved and given some therapy, and that they will grow out of it and grow to accept God, who God made them, and grow to accept their bodies.
Yep, through God, therapy, and conversion camps, we learn to accept our bodies.
What is your response to the argument that I'm sure you've heard that you are primarily motivated by bigotry and you just hate people, so you want to prevent them from being happy?
Well, that's the furthest thing from the truth. We want to protect kids, and I don't believe we're protecting children when we allow them to take these powerful drugs that are used off-label that blocks puberty, because puberty is not a disease. We all go through it. We all went through it, and we need to be protecting these kids and showing them compassion, but at the same time affirming that if they are born male, that they're male, and if they're born female, they're a female.
Yep, protecting children is a big issue, especially when genital exams were being proposed to keep trans women out of school sports because of their quote-unquote biological advantage. Does anyone else remember that? Where if girls were expected of being trans, they could get a genital exam just to double check. Also, you're right, puberty isn't a disease, but your ignorance is, and it seems to be increasingly highly contagious in our area. Do I even need to comment on the men are men, women are women? Yikes.
And we don't need to be allowing the prescription of these powerful drugs that we don't know the long-term ramifications. I mean, we've seen that powerful testosterone, when given to females, and estrogen given to males, that can have some just long-term damage, on their bodies. And
right.
So we just want to protect these kids, and we really can't listen to the opposition on that charge.
Yep, all that long-term damage of looking and feeling like the gender you identify as.
I'm from the state of Washington and worked in the legislature there for many years. And during my time there, one of the bills that was passed prohibited minors from going to tanning beds. So, parental permission or not, if you were under the age of 18, the legislature, in its wisdom, saw fit to not allow minors to go to a tanning bed because they deemed it too dangerous.
The fact that gender dysphoria and gender issues and gender identity is being compared to children not being allowed to use a tanning bed is absolutely disgusting. No one has ever put a child in a camp because they wanted to tan. Being tan is not an identity. This is just absolutely disgusting, infuriating, and pointless.
But in that state, in most states, frankly, in the country, you can totally interfere with the natural functioning of the body and even surgically modify your body, and that is apparently not harmful for kids. That doesn't make much sense, does it?
Yes, as an adult, you can surgically modify your body. That is not exclusive to transgender issues. Also, no one is doing genital surgery on children. That's not happening to children.
No, it doesn't. And, we've got to make sure we protect our kids. And, we're looking forward to advocating for this bill in the weeks to come.
Well, Representative Wes Allen, we thank you so much for your service to the state, to your service for the young people in the state of Alabama, and we wish you Godspeed.
This is where we're at. It is highly likely this is going to get passed through the House, and we need help. We need to contact our representatives, but we also need to be ready to try and get the federal government involved to step in and stop this madness. Again, the law is the Vulnerable Child Compassion and Protection Act. Please spread the word. I've put all my sources in the description, as always, so please spread the word. And a note to my kids. I know a few of my students have been looking for my channel, and if you found it and are watching this, I don't want you kids watching my content. Some of my content is aimed at mature audiences, and I don't want you guys here. But if you're watching this, since you're here, please understand, do not confide in me or anyone else about being LGBT. I love you kids, and I don't care either way. I care about y'all so much. But it's not safe for you, and it's not safe for us, because I would gladly go to jail over outing you. I would never do that. But other teachers might get caught between protecting themselves or protecting you, and I can't confidently say they would pick you over themselves. So stay safe and stay informed. And that's the end of the video. Thank you.